there's going to be both platforms today because Facebook is down. Just remembered that here. So we're only going to be streaming here on YouTube and getting started right now. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from The Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for October 4th, 2021. Got about 1 minute until the Qs and the SPY close. Down again today on the Qs and SPY. IWM as well. We came into today bearish bias. Once we trigger the hourly sell setup right here, this became our pivot as soon as we opened this morning and took out the low there of that bar. As long as we stayed below this bar, bearish on the Qs and SPY. Okay. Now going into tomorrow, we're starting to get the little bit of the bounce there. Maybe we'll get a sell setup into tomorrow morning, into later in the morning here. But just maintaining the bearish bias here until we get the next pivot. Daily, you can see Friday tried to bounce. That bar got mostly negated on both the Qs and the SPY. Now we came into today IWM neutral, and you can see this actually didn't take out Friday's low, but it doesn't really look bullish either. What we've identified here is that it's just not really trending right now, right? It's doing higher lows and lower highs. So it's not trending in one direction back and forth across this 20 MA. That's pretty standard for sideways price action, right? So IWM remains neutral. Qs and SPY are bearish, but we'll see if we get some kind of sell setup. Another nice looking opportunity there. That one that looks like this morning. This morning was pretty textbook there on the Qs and the SPY as far as creating a pivot, creating a sell setup. All right. All right, so going into tomorrow, bearish. All right. Let's get into the plays from today. Now, sometimes, I'll have days where it'll be a mix of plays that worked and didn't work. Most days, there's more of the plays that worked, or at least they worked to a good enough extent to erase the ones that didn't work. Losses, that's going to happen in trading. And then some days you just can't kind of get things turned back around. That was the case for me today, which is why we are, just talking about it, talking about the approach, the mindset when, the day is a little bit challenging or you just start off on the wrong foot, right? And of course, it's great when we are able to recover, even better when things start off great and they go smoothly from there on out. Like Friday. Friday, we started off with the Omer right at the open, right? And then from there, that was just a great way to start. And then there weren't really a lot of other really good looking setups played in the morning here. That's actually Omer down again today. Here was Friday's, right? On this breakdown here. And so, yeah, of course, it's great to start off that way, but some days you got to kind of fight your way back and you're in for a little bit of a tough back and forth. And that was the case with the OPGN. It really kind of broke out here right away. We got this inside bar. So the first trail was right into the inside bar on the 2 minute. The 1 minute was there. I decided to just give it a little bit because I didn't want to get shaken out. Okay, so initially the OPGN lost a little bit, but that was fine. And then here's where the OPGN got a little bit tricky. Okay, the OPGN, and here's the gap. This is ultimately why I'm focused on it. We're gapping up here. Now we are gapping up into resistance. I think if there is something that was maybe a little bit overly aggressive or even a mistake on the OPGN on my part was to not let it take out more of the resistance before playing. Now what I'm thinking is that, okay, we've got pretty good shock value here and relative strength relative to the market. That I want to give it a shot. I don't want to miss it because it may just blow right through the resistance. We saw, not the same exactly, but some of the kind of similar events happening last week. Go, gapping right to the resistance, then breaking through it with the entry. Let's see what the UNFI was like. Gapping above. So UNFI, well, still has some to the left there and then getting through. So seen a little bit of that, especially on relative strength items, on gap ups that were going to go. So that was the idea there on the OPGN. And so, yeah, every time, and this as a buy setup failed right in here. And I did something I don't typically do, and that's because the first one wasn't really a full loss or it was just a partial loss. So and then tried it again here. And just every time, it just wasn't going to go. And then after that, if you were in the room with me, you heard me say, and after that, I didn't mention it anymore, until we reviewed it. But I said, I'm taking it off my charts. I'm not going to trade this anymore. This thing is just no good. OPGN is not going to go today. So yeah, the OPGN, really tough way to start the morning, really challenging. These are the days when, you're trading live, you're trying to find place for the room, where, yeah, that's tough. Because I just, had to really refocus and focus on, if there was going to be another play, had to be as close to perfect as possible. Okay. So a little bit rough start there on the OPGN. The next play I called was the ADVM. ADVM was looking for a breakout over the top here as it was basing up here at the top, at this high of the day base breakout here. A little bit on the sloppy side. And then again, gapping up to resistance, but if we trigger, we're going to break through it is what I'm aiming for. Nice, big targets, potentially. Didn't want to trigger, that's fine. Okay, never took out the high of the day there. You can see the high of the day remained 252. It's going to be 253 as the entry. Okay, so, all right, fine. ADVM doesn't want to trigger. The next play was the PCRX, which did trigger, okay, and was okay. It was decent, but I had struggled so much with the OPGN. This only made about an R here on the PCRX. There was the entry. It was a big stop, that's why. $1.40 on the stop. So this I like a lot. Again, good gap. I'm still focusing on good gaps and playing setups that are high quality setups. And so, yeah, off the 20 MA there. You can play this. This is a little bit too aggressive for me. It's just been too strong. I'm trying to short off the high of the day there. This confirms that we've gone into a downtrend. That's why I like this entry. Okay, and then really just trailed here at the end of the day. Got a little bit out there, and then kind of just went into a sideways pattern. So like I said, this wasn't that big of a play. A lot of that just because the stop was so big. And then the other play that I called was the IIVI, was going to be this space right here, but then this was canceled because it went up also. Okay, so I was trying my best to really kind of get things going, not let kind of the morning make me overly aggressive or give up. That's usually traders will go one way or the other. Is that, if it's tough to start off, you either say, okay, you know what, I'm done for today, we'll try again tomorrow, which is fine. That keeps you from having a really bad day, or go the other way and then be really in an urgent way trying to get it back, right? Just kind of rushing and taking anything that they think might move to get, any of the morning losses back, right? And so you can see these were pretty spaced out from the OPGN, which was at the open here in the first 30 minutes. PCRX triggered late morning. So yeah, a couple hours later, I think ADVM was in between there. So that was probably about an hour after the open. And then the last one, the IIVI, was going to be when we come back from lunch. Okay, so I think one of those challenging days. I think I did what I'm supposed to do, and stay focused. Maybe just a little bit aggressive at the open, so I'll probably peel that back a little bit this week, just because there's a lot of this sloppiness lately at the open, so that I'll try to be a little bit less aggressive with. But I think everything else, plays didn't trigger, that's fine. Management on the PCRX, I thought I did a really good job with. It wasn't easy, sometimes at 30-cent spread. So kind of waiting until we actually got new lows before taking the first piece, I think, wasn't easy, trailing the rest off the hourly. So it triggered off that bar. So that was all really good. So I thought, today definitely tested me as a trader and a moderator. And I think after the morning, everything I did, I thought I'm pretty happy with. So that was the day. So, it wasn't able to turn the day around. So we'll have to go into kind of the first day of the week, looking to kind of recover from today. But, it's different when you make a lot of mistakes and then you're down and you finish the day down. It's a different kind of feeling than, I did what I'm supposed to do. Some of the plays didn't work out, or, this adjustment I can make going into tomorrow is a totally different mentality than, oh man, I kind of lost my head. I did a bunch of random stuff that I know I'm not supposed to do. I don't know why I can't keep myself from making the same mistakes. That kind of mentality is a lot different when you go into the next day, right? And so, yeah, it's all about, even if today couldn't turn things around, still trading like a professional in a professional manner really does have its effect not only on today but into tomorrow and the rest of the week as well. Okay, so hopefully if you did well today, or at least stayed out of trouble. I didn't think there was really that much to do. As you saw, I tried to pick from what I thought were the highest quality plays, and then especially after the morning, they didn't really trigger besides the PCRX. So that was the day. All right, hopefully we'll get more to go after, some nice plays here the rest of the week, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good evening.